It's your boy Step Back, and we're getting into the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just get the thing with the Chicago Bulls. Now we get into the thing with the Cleveland Cavaliers and their new roster. Let's take a peek. 2 stars here: Colin Sexton, Darius Garland. Didn't do any X factors for Chicago because I think it's gonna be a conglomerate. This team's a little bit different, man. These needles move a little bit different for Cleveland, man. Let's jump into the roster and see who they got. Actually, let's start with transactions. Let's keep a little flow on this thing. Transaction-wise, Kyle Guy added, 3-point shooter. Taco Fall added. Denzel Valentine added. Solid role players added to this team. I love Taco. Hopefully he can make this team. Really like what he can bring to the table from a defensive perspective. Lauri Markennen added through a trade. I'm going to skip over Broderick Thompson, okay? He's solid, but I see where he's going here. Lauri Markennen, big sign up from the Chicago Bulls. Love this pickup. 6'10", 6'11", wingspan, can shoot, can dunk. Why didn't he stay in Chicago? Not sure, but hey, moves happen. They got Derrick Jones. Lauri's on Cleveland, okay? Jared Allen was traded from the Nets, came over. Tremendous, one of the top defensive centers in the NBA. Draft pick in Evan Mobley. High pickup for them. Huge. Can play inside out. I expect big things from Evan. I think he maybe moves to a small power forward type of role with the squad. Ricky Rubio picked up from Minnesota in the trade for Taurean Prince. And then that's kind of where it ends. Remember, they signed Makugu Kabengele, another defensive-minded dude last year, and Jeremiah Martin. Now, let's look at the roster and take a peek and see what we got from a player perspective, okay? Additions of the guys I mentioned, plus who they have. I think this is the third scariest front court in the NBA, okay? With Taco, Jared Allen, defensively, they are very scary. Mitch Blaylock, I don't have too much info on the rookie from Creighton. I believe he can shoot the lights out of the ball. We'll see what he can do from this team. I expect a lot of G League action from him. Darius Garland, X Factor number 1. That's their star. It is now a coming of age year for him. At the tender age of 21, there's going to be a lot of expectations on him. He has to make the next step this year. Let him come back from the injury. Remember, the ACL hindered him in college. Now it's in the second year of recovery. Let's see what we got from this kid. Love the heads he got. He got the step back magic as well. Expect big things from Darius Garland. Kyle Guy is signed for a 3-point shooting perspective. I like this pickup. This is the next guy that makes him a scary front court from a defensive perspective. You know, no one better than the Knicks right now. But Mofiyundu Kabengele, a guy that can do it all. Think Serge Ibaka with a little more athleticism. Even though they let him go from LA, I think he's a potential great role player for any team. Still 24 years old, still learning the game. I like him. Kevin Love, I think he goes here. 33 years old. I heard he wants to finish out his career in Cleveland. I know he probably has a lot of businesses and family and saying, hey, why do we got to move, blah, blah, blah. Kevin, I think you need to go to a contender. I think Boston would be a nice spot for Kevin, but we'll see what happens. I could foresee a buyout of some sort. Kevin wants more rings, even though he's done that in Cleveland. I think there's an opportunity for him to play somewhere. I don't think he fits in this team scheme, but he's still playing minutes at 33 years old. Lauri Markennen, 24 years old. Star. Does he pair with Evan Mobley, the rookie, and make one of the dangerous tandems in the NBA for the future? Can they move him over to the small forward? A little bit of a glut here, okay, at this position. Mobley, Markennen, Jared Allen, Taco, not going to get too many minutes, and Mafuio Kabengele just to start. I know they lost a lot of guys with Larry Nance Jr., but it's surely made up with a guy that can do what Larry Nance can do, plus can shoot it, okay? Larry Nance is just getting there with the shot. RJ Nembert, another guy that's a shooter. Isaac Okoro, big athletic, 6'5", 6'6", trying to be Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, which is great. He's probably poor man's version of Jimmy. I love him. He has great intensity, great defensive intensity, special for this team. They need that. Cedric Austin plays the all-around role. Still only 26 years old. Hasn't really come through when given the minutes, but he's a solid player. Kevin Pagos, 6'2", 28 years old. Big time shooter from Gonzaga. Let's see if he makes the squad. Ricky, he is the ring general. meant to help the team get in the right positions, has gained a jump shot through the years. Still 30 years old, has potential to go a couple more years here. Nice to see him on a squad where he's going to get a lot of minutes. Let's see what happens with Mr. Rubio. Colin Sexton's the next guy. Okay, the next X factor. The tandem of Garland and Sexton makes this team dangerous, and then the pieces that they're putting around him look pretty good. Mobley can be a potential all-star, so can Lauri. Those four are the guys I want to look at this year. I really want to see the green light. I mean, they could do Lauri at the 3. He's going to get passed by the small forwards because he's too slow. But, to have a Lauri, Evan, and Jared Allen out there would be pretty sickening to see from an opposite team perspective. The ops would be angry. That's most definitely. Lamar Stevens has come a long way. 6'6", still young, 24 years old out of Penn State, looking real good with his improvements. Has definitely solidified himself as a player that is going to be in the rotation. This Broderick Thomas signing, I don't know too much about Brod, but he has a nice name. All right, Denzel Washington, we know about him. He came over from Michigan State, was a solid leader there. Now he comes over to this team. Just a solid, well-coached player, does the right things, has a little bit of handle. Again, he's not going to do his thing on these all-star type one-on-one settings, but pick and roll, pop, be in the right positions. Denzel, that's your guy. Looks good. Dean Wade is a guy that could come out swiftly. We're sleeping on him. Athletic. He's pretty athletic. Kid from Kansas State. Played a lot of minutes last year. He slots in, I think, as a backup power forward, even though they're stacked up with Kambali, who's probably not going to play. Probably Dean Wade plays over Kapangali, Kevin Lowe, and Lauri Markennen. Dylan Whittler comes in as a shooting sharpshooter for this team. That's where I think they're lacking a surefire, rapid-fire shooter. Dylan's going to have to do that. Maybe Kevin Pagos if he makes the team. And that's really all I see. I think that's the issue with this squad is that some of their best shooters are their power forwards in Kevin Love and Lauri Markennen. Let's get into the depth chart and understand what we got from this perspective and see how they kind of land as a team and who plays what. Darius Garland at the 1. Yes. Sexton at the 2. They're still starting him. You see the issue. It's kind of like the Dame Lillard McCollum type of deal. That's what they're trying to build here. Ricky Rubio is the backup, and then they got Kevin Pangos as a third guy. You can see the big difference in drop-off of player names versus the Chicago Bulls in the last video. Colin Sexton, Cedi Osman, I like Dylan Whittler. I think they're okay here. Again, the backup guards may need some help here. Cedric Osman, he can do a little bit of everything. I like him. I like his style of play. But they need a sharpshooter. Maybe that's why Kyle Guy comes into play. Okay, Isaac Okoro, Lauri Markennen as the backup at the 3. He comes in starting. He should be a great defensive force. I want to see Lamar Stevens gain into that secondary. Does in the future, because if he leaves off, I then like Dean Wade or one of those guys, Cop and Galley come in and back up Mobley. I think Lauri also plays that as well. However, he's going to be a really strong hybrid by the time they're done with the kids. So positionless player on the reels. Jared Allen, big center, big all-star, has Mobley to back him up, has Lauri. I think they need more size. Obviously, Taco Fall came into play. So I like this squad, what they can do from that perspective on racking up the right amount of talent. But division-wise, they ended up 13th in the East. Where do they land from any perspective? Can this team make the playoffs? No. I don't have them beating out anyone in the Central Division outside of Indiana, Detroit, and I'm not sure if they get to those guys this year. Milwaukee and Chicago look like they have a firm set of hands to get them go forward. I think that's going to be the arch enemy of the Chicago Bulls. Will be Cleveland. They can win some games now. It's just the fact they don't have the experience, and that's my issue. So, because what I've experienced is actually, not too much compared to what these guys will experience going through the season from a ranking perspective. Injuries, all that good stuff come into play as a talking point. So here we go for the preview and where these guys are going to rank. I got them as the 11th to 12th last team in the NBA because of their youth and the growth that's needed. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them in a playoff hunt. If you see them there, don't be surprised. But I got them near still the bottom tier of the NBA And my expectation is through the years in the draft that they get better. Cleveland Cavaliers season preview. I gave it to you here first. I ran on the players, the stats. So I didn't get into the stats because I don't think they're gonna win too many games. We are now ready for some pure action. But let me just go through. Where's Cleveland ranked here on scoring? Dead last, no 3-point shooting. 42% from field goal range. Okay, they don't do themselves any favors. This Cleveland team, and then 3-point shooting, 33%. Good night. How are you? One bright spot, looks like they do pretty well on free throws made and free throw attempts, as well as I believe there's some talking point here to their rebounding, which I think will be pretty solid. I'm going to sign off here. Your boy Step Back went through it. Yes, sir. Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm gone.